The bus, a relic of a bygone era, groaned to a stop, its weary frame shuddering one last time. It was the same bus I remembered from childhood, the one that connected Bulan to the outside world. Its engine sputtered, coughed, and then died into a heavy, unfamiliar silence. A silence that pressed in on me, amplified by the thick mist that clung to everything. The air was still, expectant. I stepped off, hesitant. City shoes, so out of place, sinking into Bulan's damp earth after 10 years away. 10 years since I last felt this soil beneath my feet. 10 years since I ran away from this very place. The village looked unchanged, the same familiar houses lining the street, yet hollow, devoid of the life I remembered. No laughter, the joyous sounds of children playing were absent. No chatter, the comforting gossip of women drawing water from the well was gone. Just quiet, an unsettling quiet that spoke volumes. The old banyan tree, a silent sentinel, still guarded the entrance, its roots digging deep into the earth, a testament to time. But the air felt abandoned, heavy with unspoken stories and forgotten memories. Every doorway watched me, a silent audience to my return. Every window hid a secret, a glimpse into lives lived and lost. I walked the overgrown path, the familiar route to Aji's house. Memories of childhood laughter, of carefree days spent running through these lanes, were now replaced by the echo of my solitary footsteps. Faces peeked from behind faded curtains, their eyes following my every move. Old, familiar faces, etched with time and hardship, but empty, their expressions pitying, as if they already knew the burden I carried. I reached Aji's small, rain-soaked house, the paint peeling, the walls stained with dampness. Smoke, a thin grey wisp curled from the chimney, the only sign of life, a fragile promise of warmth and welcome. At the gate, a rusty, creaking barrier, dread nearly turned me back, whispering insidious doubts in my ear. But I was rooted, my feet refusing to move, held captive by a force stronger than fear. I had to face the quiet house, the quiet woman, my grandmother, the only family I had left. I took a breath, a deep, shuddering inhale, tasting damp earth and decay, the scent of Bulan, both familiar and foreign. I pushed the gate open, its hinges protesting with a mournful screech. The village felt like a ghost of itself, haunted by the echoes of what it once was, a place forgotten by time, left to crumble and fade into the mist. I was running from my own failures, from the wreckage of my city life, hoping for a new start, a chance to rebuild, to find solace in the familiar. But the beginning felt like an end, a final surrender to the past, and I stepped inside, into the silence, into the heart of the unknown. Fog rolled in thick and unnatural, swallowing the world behind me. The silence filled with whispers, faint, everywhere, wordless. I quickened my pace, heart pounding, feeling eyes in the fog. The village vanished. I was alone in a suffocating mist. Doors and windows were shut, no lights, no life, just secrets. The fog brought an early, unnatural twilight. Fear gripped me. I was an intruder. The whispers urged, leave, never return. At Aji's door, the whispers became a girl's sad, fragmented lullaby. My hand trembled as I knocked. The humming stopped instantly. Silence rushed in, more terrifying than the sound. I was alone, but not really. Something was waiting in the fog, and in this house. The old wooden door creaked open with a groan that echoed through the silent house. It was a sound that spoke of age and secrets, a sound that sent a shiver down my spine. Aji stood just beyond the threshold, a frail figure framed by the darkness. She was as still as a statue, her presence both comforting and unsettling. Her eyes, though aged, held a piercing intensity, seeming to look right through me, searching for something I couldn't name. It was as if she was trying to gauge my intentions, to see if I was worthy of entering her domain. She stepped aside, wordless, offering no greeting, no explanation. I hesitated for a moment, then took a deep breath and entered the house. The house's silence was thick, a palpable presence that pressed in on me from all sides. It was a silence that had been building for years, a silence that held within it countless untold stories. It was heavy with years of things unsaid, of secrets buried deep within the walls, of memories that lingered like ghosts. Aji moved with a slow, deliberate grace, her movements economical and precise. She lit a kerosene lamp, the flames sputtering to life and casting a warm, golden glow. The light danced across the walls, creating long, flickering shadows that seemed to writhe and twist like living things. The shadows played tricks on my eyes, making the familiar room seem strange and unfamiliar. She asked nothing, offered no explanation for my sudden arrival, no inquiry about my life. She just moved about her chores, her movements precise and practiced, as if she were a machine going through its programmed routine. Her silence was a wall, a barrier erected between us, keeping me at arm's length. I tried to speak, to break the oppressive quiet. "Aji, it's been a long time, hasn't it?" But she only nodded curtly, her gaze fixed on the fire, stoking the flames with a fierce intensity. It was clear. We would not talk about the past, about the reasons for my absence, about the unspoken tensions that hung in the air. I sat, feeling like a stranger in a strange land, an unwelcome guest. I was a stranger in my own grandmother's home, a place that should have felt familiar, comforting, but instead felt cold and alien. The house smelled of wood smoke, a scent that was both nostalgic and suffocating, and of wilted jasmine, a sweet, decaying fragrance that spoke of forgotten beauty and lost love. Nothing had changed physically. The furniture was in the same place, the walls were the same color, yet everything felt colder, emptier, as if a vital part of the house had been hollowed out, leaving only a shell behind. Her silence was heavy, laden with secrets, with unspoken truths, with a history that she was determined to keep buried. Later, as the shadows deepened, she served a simple meal of rice and dal, the same meal she had served countless times before. We ate in silence, the only sound the clinking of metal against ceramic. Only the soft scraping of spoons against plates broke the heavy quiet, a sound that amplified the tension in the room. I wanted to ask about the village, about the changes that had occurred in my absence, about the fog that seemed to perpetually shroud the landscape, clinging to the earth like a shroud, about the whispers that seemed to ride on the wind, carrying secrets and rumors through the narrow streets. But her silence, her stern expression, warned me not to broach those subjects. There are things you should not ask, questions that are best left unasked, secrets that are better left buried. There are doors you should not open, paths you should not tread, truths you are not meant to know. So I ate, the questions burning in my throat, choking me with their unspoken weight, and the silence stretched on, an oppressive blanket smothering any hope of connection.
Silent gesture, then a brief nod.
Sleep wouldn't come. The house was quiet, but the night outside was alive with wind and whispers. I pulled the blanket up, tense as a child fearing monsters in the dark. The whispers wove into my thoughts. Then, a soft, hesitant knock at the door. Tap, tap, tap. My heart leaped. Who would knock at this hour? Aji slept, undisturbed. The knocking came again, patient, persistent. Someone waiting for me. Dread paralyzed me. I sat up, listening. The knocking stopped. Then a scratching, fingernails on wood. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Desperate, I wanted to call Aji, but fear held me silent. The scratching continued, relentless. Then a whisper. "Mira, you promised." The voice was thin, sad. A voice from a nightmare I'd tried to forget. The scratching stopped, but I knew it was still there, waiting just outside the door. I was scared, but I promised. She smiled, sad and fleeting, then faded into twilight. I ran home, crying. The next day my parents took me away. I never came back, until now. The whisper at the door had found the key to my forgotten promise. Chaya was real.
Promise me you'll come back. Promise you won't forget me.
I didn't understand.
They won't let me leave, she whispered. But you can, Mira.
The memory hit me, a secret I'd buried deep. I was 8, playing near the old well at sunset with Chaya, my secret friend in a white dress. No one else saw her. We played hide and seek. I hid, waiting for her to find me. Darkness fell. I called her name. No answer. I stepped out. She was gone. Fear prickled. I approached the well, whispered her name. She stood across the well, pale, sad, not my playmate anymore. The memory left me breathless. Chaya, my forgotten friend, my broken promise. For 10 years, I'd convinced myself it was a dream. But the knocking, the whispers, it was her, reminding me. Guilt washed over me. I'd left her alone in this place. The villagers' pitying eyes. They knew. The village was haunted, not by monsters, but by memories. Chaya wasn't trying to hurt me. She was lonely, reaching out. The scratching was a plea to be remembered. You promised, she'd whispered. I had abandoned her. I couldn't lie here, paralyzed by fear. I had to face her, apologize, try to make things right. I got to my feet, the house silent, the world holding its breath. I had to go to the well. I had to return to where it all began. I stepped into the night. I unlatched the door. The fog clung low, moonlight painting the village ghostly. She stood at the end of the lane, Chaya in white, her back to me. My heart stopped. She turned, her sad eyes meeting mine. She drifted away, not running, but inviting me to follow. I ran, calling her name, my voice swallowed by the night. The chase twisted through the village's labyrinthine lanes. Chaya was always just ahead, her dress a beacon. Sometimes she vanished, then reappeared, waiting. The houses loomed, silent and judging. Whispers swirled around me, voices of the past. I ran faster, chasing not just a ghost, but the truth. The path grew familiar. Old landmarks, old memories. I knew where she was leading me, the old well, the place where I made a promise and broke it. The end of the lane opened into the clearing. I peered into the well. At first, only my reflection. Then, faces appeared, pale, empty-eyed children, mouths open in silent screams. The forgotten ones, trapped like Chaya. The well was full of them. Chaya was not alone. The village's sorrow was deeper than I'd ever known. I understood the weight of my promise.
They are waiting. They are always waiting.
I choked out an apology, tears streaming. I was just a child. I didn't mean to forget. The words tumbled out, a confession held for a decade. She only looked at me, silence thick with years. She raised a translucent hand, pointing at the well.
You came back, she whispered.
I burst into the clearing. The old well stood ancient and ominous beside the banyan tree. The air was colder, heavier, a wound in the village. Chaya waited by the well, close now, her dress tattered, her form translucent. I stopped, heart pounding, past and present colliding. She turned to me, her face sad but not angry, just endlessly lonely.
She was waiting patiently in the shadows, silent, a profound sadness etched in her eyes, a sadness that spoke volumes. She knew what was coming, she knew what I had done. I left Bulan that day, eager to escape the weight of its history, to leave behind the whispers and the shadows. But Bulan never truly left me. It clung to me, a shadow, a constant reminder of what I had witnessed, what I had failed to prevent. The haunting is not over. It lingers, a persistent echo in the corridors of my mind. It never will be. It's a part of me now, woven into the fabric of my being. I didn't fix anything. I only stirred the dust, awakened the sleeping ghosts. I just became another keeper of the secret, burdened by the knowledge, trapped in the unending cycle of silence and sorrow. Every night, when the world is quiet and the stars are hidden behind a veil of darkness, I still hear them, the voices of the forgotten, the cries of the lost, the faint, sad whispers carried on the wind, a constant reminder of the injustice, a promise broken, a sacred trust betrayed, an echo that will never fade, resonating through time, a testament to the enduring power of sorrow.
I stumbled back, reeling from the revelation, horror and pity mixing inside me, a nauseating cocktail of emotions threatening to overwhelm me. The well was a grave, a dark and silent abyss, a prison for lost souls, a place where hope went to die. Chaya just one of many, a single thread in a tapestry of tragedy. My broken promise was part of a much older tragedy, a wound that had festered for generations. Chaya was a victim, not a monster, a soul trapped between worlds, yearning for peace. She just wanted her story told, her truth acknowledged, her pain understood. She looked at me, her gaze piercing through the darkness, a faint, sad smile of acceptance on her lips, a silent forgiveness. She had made me remember the forgotten, the buried truths. That was all she wanted, to be remembered, to be heard. The whispers rose, building in intensity, a chorus of pleading, forgotten voices, each one a story of loss and longing. As dawn broke, painting the sky with hues of hope and promise, Chaya faded, her spectral form becoming less distinct, her form dissolving into the mist, returning to the ethereal realm from whence she came. She didn't say goodbye. There was no need for words, just one last, long look, a silent understanding passing between us. The whispers faded with her, quieting down, leaving a different silence. A silence that was not empty, one full of presence, a lingering sense of peace and resolution. I stood by the well until sunrise, watching the first rays of light illuminate the ancient stones, then walked back to Aji's house in a daze, forever changed by what I had experienced.